President Obama has made his first public comments on the water contamination crisis in Flint, Michigan. Flint's water was poisoned with lead in 2014 after an unelected emergency manager, appointed by Governor Rick Snyder, switched the city's water supply to the long-contaminated and highly corrosive Flint River in a bid to save money. On Wednesday, Governor Snyder released copies of his emails that show he was made aware of the water contamination issues as early as February 1st, 2015, but that his administration was dismissive of residents' concerns. Some pages of the emails are entirely redacted. The Flint engine plant of the auto giant General Motors engine plant stopped using Flint's water in October 2014, saying it was rusting its parts. Speaking Wednesday at the United Auto Workers General Motors Training Center in Detroit, Obama said he would be beside himself if he were the parent of a Flint child. He added that the crisis serves as a, quote, reminder of why you can't shortchange basic services.
I am very proud of what I've done as president, but the only job that's more important to me is the job of father. And I know that if I was a parent up there, I would be beside myself that my kid's health could be at risk. Yesterday, I met with Mayor Weaver in the White House in the Oval Office. And I told her that we are going to have her back and all the people of Flint's back as they work their way through this terrible tragedy. It is a reminder of why you can't shortchange basic services that we provide to our people and that we together provide as a government to make sure that public health and safety is preserved.
There is another crisis over basic services in Michigan that Obama did not address. During his visit to Detroit, dire conditions under an unelected emergency manager have led school teachers to declare emergency of their own. On Wednesday, 88 of Detroit's roughly 100 public schools were closed in the latest mass teacher sickouts, protesting underfunding, black mold, rat infestations, crumbling buildings, inadequate staffing. Detroit's public schools are under the control of unelected emergency manager Darnell Early. He's none other than the unelected emergency manager who presided over the water contamination in Flint. He was then moved to Detroit. Journalist Kate Levy has been speaking to students, teachers, and parents in Detroit about the crisis.
I've gotten used to seeing rats everywhere. I've gotten used to seeing the dead bugs. I've tried to ignore all the graffiti when I'm trying to use the bathroom. But either way it goes, I'm still bothered by these things, and it makes me feel sick, and it doesn't feel good.
In Detroit, almost the entire public school district was closed Wednesday because of the latest teacher sickout.
Okay, my name's Elisa Naya. I work at Clifford Academy. My daughter, Annalise, and Victor, who's marching, my son and daughter go to the Academy of the Americas. So the buildings in DPS, especially their building, the Academy of the Americas, it's an old building. It's fallen apart. We were trying to move, there was a movement to move the building a couple years ago. It didn't work. They're still there. I'm sure there's rats and mold. You can smell it when you open the door, and it's just not a good environment for the kids to be in all day.
My name is Carl Baxter, and I'm out here to support the teachers as a parent, because I have children that actually attend DPS. But when you have mold growing in the building, the long-term effects, it's no telling.
Like the city of Flint, which is experiencing a public health crisis over poisoned water, Detroit's public school district is run by a state-appointed, unelected emergency manager. In fact, Detroit schools are run by Darnell Early, the same emergency manager who presided over Flint's change in water sources. Since 2009, Detroit residents, parents, and even the elected school board have had no say in how the district is run. Tawana Simpson is an elected school board member.
Emergency management has created public safety and health crises in our school district here in Detroit. Irreparable harm is being done to our students as well as our teachers and our parents and our community as a whole. We're not able to help because of a law, PA 436 in Michigan, which allows the governor to assume all the authority of the elected officials.
Since emergency management began, over 75 school buildings have been closed in the city of Detroit. Since 2009, hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars have been spent repairing school buildings that were subsequently closed down or handed over to an alternative state-run district that is currently under federal investigation for widespread corruption. 3 top officials in this district have already pled guilty. Meanwhile, for many Detroit public school students, the remaining open schools are often worse off than the ones the students came from. Al Wright's son Timothy has cerebral palsy and attended Oakman Elementary School, which was the only school in the district built specifically for special needs students. It was closed down in 2013.
Initially, after Oakman first closed, they sent Timothy to Henderson. When you get there, you pass this man-sized hole in the ceiling that was leaking for the time we did the inspection to the school to this year. And all they did was put some cones around and a garbage can to collect the water. We had fire exits that were blocked, fire windows that had security bars on it.
Under emergency management since 2009, the number of Detroit public school service workers has dropped from over 2,000 to 820. The number of skilled craft workers has dropped from 405 to only 13. Jim Arini is an engineer and the treasurer of the Engineers Union, Local 324.
Summer of 2014, while Detroit Public School was under emergency manager, the school requested from the City of Detroit a variance to their ordinance that requires an engineer to be on staff whenever a boiler is operating. We feel that it puts the children's lives, the teachers' lives, and the general public's lives in jeopardy of a boiler explosion. We can kind of relate to the Flint water crisis, the fact that we've poisoned kids in Flint under this emergency manager rule, and now the same emergency manager is operating Detroit Public Schools. We're afraid that this is going to cause a safety issue and potentially lives at risk.
For student Wisdom Morales, the situation has created increasing anxiety.
I want to be able to go to school and not have to worry about being bitten by mice, being knocked out by the gases, being cold in the rooms.
An elected school board member, Tawana Simpson, says the crisis is a result of state control.
The education is mandatory for our children here in Detroit. It's mandatory for all young people in this country. And it's not a good thing to suspend democracy. And emergency management does not care about our students. They're there for the bottom line. It's a very unjust thing to try to run a school district as a corporation.
For Democracy Now!, I'm Kate Levy in Detroit.
The Detroit public school system is seeking a restraining order and preliminary injunction that would force teachers to stop the sickouts and return to work.